Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Tanetta. I am exhausted. I am driving, so it is Saturday, and I do my testimonies on Saturday. I did not want to miss the opportunity because I know that when I get home, I am going to shower and get into the bed and fall asleep. So I thought the topic that I would talk about today would be appropriate of how I'm looking today. So the topic that I have is the fact that I was bullied. I was bullied as a child when I moved to San Diego. Prior to that, I lived in Los Angeles, and then we went to Las Vegas for a short time. And I had a lot of friends, and I was somewhat popular. I never struggled with fighting friends and all that stuff in elementary. And when we moved to Las Vegas, I actually transitioned to junior high. It wasn't middle school back then. It was junior high, and I was in the 6th grade, and so I'd already transitioned to junior high. And we came to San Diego, and I had to go back to elementary. 6th grade was in elementary. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm back to this one classroom. When I got to San Diego, it was different. The kids were different. They were mean. And I didn't fit into what was good looking for them. I was quiet, somewhat shy. I wasn't excessively cute at all, and my mom didn't dress me the cutest at all. It was really hard to fit in. And then I learned later that a lot of the kids in school were related one way or another. And I've learned that about San Diego, is that people are related a lot. And so so it was a whole new culture. It was new culture. It was a cultural shock for me. I really didn't know how to deal with San Diego. They were just mean, and there were few in between that were just really, really nice. At the time, my best friends were Angie and Kim. We met in elementary, and then after that, it was Sherelle I met in middle school. And, so that's been my posse since now. Like, even they're still my best friends. Kim's in another state far, far away, but I still love her to pieces. And Angie, she's still my ace boom boom in Las Vegas. And Sherelle is still hanging tough with me here in San Diego. But nevertheless, the bullying for me was really bad. It started in 6th grade, and it went through middle school all the way into my 9th grade here. I got bullied on the bus. I got talked about. I had short hair. I was dark. They called me Grace Jones. One particular boy used to always scream, Grace, really, loud and obnoxious about it. The whole bus would laugh, and my girls held they held it down. Kim was our little cute, light-skinned friend, and me and Angie were dark. And I guess light-skinned girls were in because me and Angie got teased all the time. I lived on a street where there were no kids, so I didn't even really get to socialize got to see me different, who was the cousin of the boy who used to tease me all the time. I was goofy, always telling stories, always talkative, so this is nothing new. Nobody expects anything less. Stacy, who's now my frat bro. Yeah, I think we all just got to know each other a little bit better, and so that helped out a whole lot. Started cheering, wanted to be a cheerleader. So, yeah, so what bullying did for me, though, growing up, and I know a lot of people didn't know this, and shout out to the girls that when I asked, can you be my big sister, and they would say yes. I don't know if they did it out of pity, because we never really spent time together. We didn't have the same lunch breaks or nothing. But I really want to talk about what bullying did for me growing up, because I know I was very silent, and a lot of people didn't know this. And again, I said today is a good day to have this. I have been helping a friend move all day today. I've put in a good 13 hours today. You know, being there, moving a little bit. I'm still in a lot of pain because I've gone through surgery and I've got a torn rotator cuff. But that's my friend, and that's what friendships are for. But I've been hanging out with a few friends today, so yeah, I'm really exhausted. But nevertheless, growing up, 6th grade, you know, everyone giggled when I came in. I'm very raw today, so that's why I thought it was appropriate, but I don't have no makeup on. I didn't feel the need to just, you know, shine. I shine anyway. But yeah, when I came into the class, Miss McGowan's class, you know, people giggled, people teased me, you know, and I didn't really care. You know, I came in, I was brand new, didn't really care. Oh well, that's what you do with the new kid, and so I'll assimilate soon. So I thought. It did not happen, and you know, of course, there were the chosen few that were my friends that I could really say, you know, that's my friend. But I wasn't used to not having friends, so it did mess with my psyche a lot. So bad that by the time we got into middle school and they were teasing on the bus so bad, I did 3 years of middle school of listening to the same crap. And I was depressed. I was clinically diagnosed. I was diagnosed with depression when I was 14. Had a lot of stuff going on. Remember, I'm sharing all my testimony, so by now you know that I was raped at 14. But I was really depressed prior to even being raped. I think the kids at the school were just really, really mean for me, and I didn't want to live. I was not a happy camper at all. I started doing some modeling at 14, but didn't take it a lot serious, and I wanted to be like my sister. And it was good because it was building my self-esteem, but it wasn't good enough. It was bad, you know. There were a lot of things going on. I wasn't feeling loved. I had things going on at home with my dad being the last child at home. Yeah, my mom was like a workaholic because, well, the bills needed to be paid. And so my siblings were so much older than me that I rarely saw them. So I really had nobody. I was used to being around my cousin and he wasn't there. And so yeah, it was pretty funky. But I think the few friends that were there kind of kept me through it. You have to have things to look forward to. I really didn't have too much to look forward to, but there were a few people that just knew how to brighten my day. And I have to say, because when I first met Ronnie, he was mean to me because his cousin was mean. And so it was expected for him to be mean to me. And I know throughout the years when we got study hall together, he was a real sweetheart. And I really appreciated Ronnie's friendship. And I appreciated his attentiveness in my stories. And then listening what everybody else did for the weekends and all of those things. They were really cool. The older kids were really cool. They kind of got me through the rough time, not even knowing that they were doing that. Monique was really great for me during those transitional years, because nobody knew. I don't even think my best friend knew exactly everything that I was going through, because I was somewhat kind of quiet. My siblings were I had some siblings on drugs. My mom was getting custody of my nieces. I think that's how I became friends with some girls. It's just that they seen my nieces and they were gorgeous. And so they would play mom to my nieces. I'd give them these pictures and they would do really great things with framing their pictures and everything. But yeah, it was bad. I got the cutest boyfriend ever finally. His name was Abraham, and he was Puerto Rican, and he liked his dark sister, and he was good for me, was good for my esteem. I think my mother knew that and said, you know what, I'm just gonna let that be her first boyfriend, my childhood boyfriend, which helped out a lot. So sometimes as parents, we have to recognize what's good for our children, what's not good for our children, because I know there's a lot that's like, oh, I don't want my kid dating or whatever, but sometimes you just don't know what your kid is going through because you didn't go through it, or maybe you do and you just didn't have the same experience. But nevertheless, I stopped my car. Nevertheless, the bullying was really tough, and suicide was very real for me. I remember when I lost the boyfriend, though, him and my best friend was the only thing that mattered to me. So when he was removed, because some girl that started going to our school, I was embarrassed and ashamed. I was like, I really just don't want to live anymore. There's nothing high. I didn't really have too much to go to school for, and then I didn't really have too much to come home to, and then he was gone. And so I attempted suicide. I did not get hospitalized for it because nobody knew that I attempted it. It is in my diary to this day. I still have it. And I believe it was 1985, and I popped about 12 Tylenol in my tummy, and it made me sick to my stomach and sleep. I slept. I was just tired, and but it didn't do anything. And I remember asking my mother, although she didn't know it was for me, and my mother was a nurse, and I was like, can a person kill themselves off of Tylenol? I think this girl took like 10 or 15, and my mom was like, no, it's not gonna do anything but make them sick. And it was the aha moment of, that's what happened yesterday, but nobody knew it until I think somebody found my diary. That was my first attempt. I didn't like it at all. I just wanted to evaporate. I thought it was better. Nobody would miss me. I left no notes, no nothing. I just wanted to dissolve. And so, yeah, as the years kept going, because that was like 14 and then 16 came around, and you're going through life and the kids are crueler, I wanted to do it again. So I'm gonna put the link below of the suicide hotline for any kids that think that that's the solution. I think at age 16, 17, I went to Planned Parenthood and found a fantastic therapist, since I had been through so much. And I remember her saying, there's no reason to have a permanent solution for a temporary situation. That really stayed in my head for a long time. I can't tell you that I've not been through the bottom of the valley since then, but I've definitely seen the top of the mountains. And I'm glad that I made a different choice. I'm glad that that stuck with me. I'm glad that I was strong enough and resilient enough that I could get through the kids teasing me. I finally grew into my own self-worth, my own beauty. I started, like I said, I became a cheerleader. I started doing pageants. My mom was trying to get me into Barbizon. I started doing pageants. It got me contracts to model. I would do things in the summer while all the kids were doing whatever they were doing. I was doing me. And I would come back. Oh, she's trying to wear makeup and lipstick now. I really didn't care. I was so confident with what I was doing with my life that they couldn't faze me. I think they saw that. And it didn't matter what I looked like to them. What mattered is what I felt like inside. So it takes a lot to get through bullying, and I'm grateful that I didn't have a lot of people to get me through it, but I was, strong enough to get through it myself. And, that's the temperament of who God has made me to be. Bullying's nothing nice. I've lost a niece to suicide because of bullying. And I've had another niece think about it. And I'm sure I've had an array of family that have thought about it in their days of going through whatever they were going through at the time. People, a permanent solution, or kids as well. A permanent solution is not the answer to a temporary situation. You can't get up the next day and say, today's a better day. There are no more better days, and you die in the worst days. Like, that's your legend. Don't let it be. There's so much more. Just because kids tell you something yesterday, we all grow up. It's not, for me, it's not like the movies. Those kids that talked about me, thank God for Facebook. But most of them are my friends now. The ones that weren't sure if they were my friends, we're not close friends, but we're, study halls was really good. So those people I really adore and admire. And, but still I can call them my friend, and I'm happy to be calling Stacy my frat brother. Just some shout outs. He really got me through it. Vera got me through it. Monique. um, Sherelle before she left. Because, yeah, my best friend Angie left. So she went to a different school. So it was just me really dealing with the harshness by myself. And I just wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to give up. Kim left. She moved to Dallas, to Texas. I'm not sure exactly if it was Dallas. So I'm just really grateful and thankful. Trina was just amazing. For the stereotypes that were going on at that particular time in her life, Trina was the light-skinned girl, the mixed girl, and just I found her absolutely beautiful, and she was beautiful inside and out. And Trubetta, man, just, yeah. The cheerleading squad was cool. Gaynell, Danielle, she was cool. She helped me. I wouldn't have gotten in on the cheerleading squad if it wasn't for Danielle. I had one day to practice because I had left the school and came back. It sucked that I didn't make varsity and I was a senior. But Danielle, she made sure that I learned that dance and those cheers. And I really appreciated her. And Christina Brigante, and just those were the people that really standed out to me. So the guy who used to tease me on the bus, and if you guys are listening from school, you know exactly who that is. I'm going to tell the story. And so he used to tease me on the bus and call me all kind of stuff and black, and call my friend. He used to tease my friend, call her Energizer. And, he just was really such a bully that just really depressed me in such a way. I know for my other friend, she was constantly hurting too, but I think it was something we just didn't really want to admit all the time. So one day I'm at the store, and I think a lot of you have seen my best moments, and today might be my worst. I'm stanky, I'm tired, my BDBs is fighting the world, and I'm just exhausted. But and then there's been worser days than these, but nevertheless, I was at the gas station one day pumping gas, and I gotta tell you, I was looking pretty hot that day. My then fiance had just had a heart attack, and I think at that time, because of what was going on health-wise, the family had pulled him away from me. That's another testimony. So I was pretty single, but of course not looking. And so I still was dedicated and committed to the process of him. And he seen me, my bully saw me at the gas pump, and he was like, "Hey, don't I know you?" And I was like, "Yep." And he was like, I knew he had tried to send me messages on the Facebook. And he was like, "Oh, don't I know you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You're," and I was like, "Tonetta." And so he was like, "Oh, damn, girl." Right? So, and I knew it was my day. Oh yes, arrogance was in the air. I was confident like nobody's business. I owned it and I earned it. And so he said, "Well, you're looking real good." And I said, "Oh, okay. So I seen some of your pictures on Facebook." I said, And he said, "You single?" And even though I wasn't quite single, I told him yes, because I wanted this moment. He said, "Yeah, you single?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Wow, can I get your number?" And I said, "No." And he was like, what? I was like, are you surprised? You teased me so bad in school, I didn't want to live life. He was like, what? I was like, it was so bad in front of all the most popular kids. And all I wanted to do is just love the Lord and just be friendly with everybody, kumbaya. And you were so cruel to me. I wouldn't date you if you gave me $1 million. Like, no. He then told me, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I never knew. And I said, that's sad that you didn't know. That were you so caught up in it that you just didn't know. I can't remember the rest of that conversation, but that's the gist of the conversation. I later got a message from him on Facebook on the messenger saying, hey, I apologize. I'm really sorry because I have a daughter now. And I think he sent me a picture of his daughter or told me to look on his page. And beautiful little girl. And he said, I would never want anyone to treat my daughter the way that I did. I would never want anybody to make her feel the way that I made you feel. I appreciated that, accepted his apology, and moved on in life. He later tried to hit me up. You can deny it if you want to, but you know I saved the messages, right? I'm just saying. Anyway.